What is up, Internet? Nerdlocker.com back here with comic book reviews for this week. And I'm starting off with Green Lantern number 22. A lot of stuff's happening on OA right now. That's the easiest way to put this issue. Larfleeze is back, and he's just killing and taking and stealing and doing what he wants. And the only thing is, it's kind of like they just like kind of push him away, and it's like, okay, he's done. We'll figure that out later. I kind of wish they approached that with a little more seriousness, because it seemed like, oh my God, he's here. This is a bad thing. And then once they kind of like make him go away, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. He'll just go do whatever after he killed somebody. I'm not going to say who. You'll see in the book. We also see Saint Walker, who's one of my favorite characters, and this sets up for something big with a certain prisoner in a cell and some crazy stuff going on. I like where this is going, honestly. I'm glad that 2 issues in, I know it's only 2 issues into the new writer, but I'm liking it. I'm really enjoying Green Lantern, and I hope this stays. I hope it shows that this book is, Hal Jordan's a solid character. It's not just Jeff Johns' magic behind it. So I'm giving this book 4 to 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you guys thought.
Hey there guys, Kibby here with my comic reviews for this week, and I'm going to start off with Avengers number 15, the prelude to Marvel's Infinity. I haven't been reading New Avengers. I will start off with that. So I'm kind of in a void of what to expect with Infinity. I know what's been going on with Avengers, and it's been really exciting and awesome, and I've been enjoying it. And this issue, it just kind of starts off, just boom, straight off the bat, you're like, oh my God, what's going on? There's all this crazy crap going on, insects attacking New York and taking it over, or not New York, Perth, my bad, Australia. And the Avengers are, of course, they're fighting it off and trying to figure stuff out, but you're going back and forth and kind of, putting the pieces together. It's building it up in a great way, and it ends with kind of like a, oh snap. You see the cover for the next issue, and you kind of imagine what's going to happen, and that makes me so excited. I can't wait to see this dude duke it out with someone. I haven't seen it in a while because I'm not reading his book, but either way, it's awesome. I can't wait. This was a 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. A solid 4 out of 5.
Hey there nerds, Jim here with my comic book reviews this week, and first up I have Deadpool Kills Deadpool. I'm a huge fan of Deadpool. I caught on back in New Mutants, love him when he first came aboard, really liked his evolution. To be honest, and Brandon has mentioned this before, he is sort of overplayed now. I mean, he's everywhere. And that's why I was excited for this book, because by the title I'm like, man, is this going to be like a 0 hour, let's get rid of all the Deadpools? I'm not sure yet. I kind of liked the book. It had some panels that were really good. The humor was there at times, but then sometimes they tried too hard. And so far he's met up with other Deadpools from other universes, and they're killing, and that's what Deadpool does. So I'm curious, they've got me, but I really think this was more of a 0.1 for Marvel, or even a 0 issue. So I'm not exactly sure where it's going to go, but it was definitely a setup for things that are going to come. So I'm only going to give it 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls, but I'm really hoping that they go the way I want it to go and coalesce Deadpool into one badass character.
Hey guys, this is Haley with my review of Satellite Sam number 1, and I'm going to say I picked up this book knowing that it was written by Matt Fraction. I love his writing, so I was really looking forward to it. The problem that I had with it was that it didn't feel like it was written by Matt Fraction. So I was a little bit let down to begin with just from that, but then to further go on, the story relies a lot on looking for this missing actor. He's the guy that plays Satellite Sam in a TV show, like a sci-fi 50s TV show, which is a bit interesting, except this issue is really drawn on. It's all about looking for him, which is fine if everything else that's going on in the meantime makes sense. And it's just the same thing. It felt very repetitive. I didn't feel like the characters were getting very far. They were just kind of talking a lot of meaningless nonsense, and it just dragged on way too long. I wasn't enthusiastic about this book. I was really disappointed. I'm only going to be able to give it 2 Nerd Skulls. The only reason I'm not giving it less is because there was a story. I just felt like there wasn't enough to it.
All right, I got to read Batman Inc. number 12. We're now 1 issue away from the conclusion of Batman Inc. And let me tell you, you think you've seen Bruce Wayne pissed in these other books, since the death of his son, Damian. This is Bruce Wayne just letting loose. This is him, just confronting his murderer and just kicking the crap out of him. I really enjoyed this. The next issue I feel is going to be gigantic. I feel like this is going to be a really big defining moment in Batman's history. Batman Inc. first came out, it was big because, Bruce Wayne's out as the financial backer to Batman. They start Batman Incorporated. And now, since the new 52 came out and started back at 1, we had kind of like Talia's involvement, understanding what's going on with her. I mean, that's a big Batman character, and this issue kind of leaves it that there's only one way out for Batman or Talia in this next issue. And I'm really interested to see how this ends. I've enjoyed it so far. I love this. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. Let me know what you guys thought.
All right, guys, so I got to read Victories number 3 this week, and I've really enjoyed this whole series. I really love the artwork and the way it looks, the feel that you get when you read it. This particular issue, there's a ton of character development and out of nowhere, and it's pretty awesome. Kind of world development, you kind of see the bigger picture, the bigger scope of a lot of stuff, and one particular character who's been going nuts. You kind of get in his mind and you kind of see that there's some stuff that's going to go down. I can't wait to see what happens. This is always an exciting book, and I really highly recommend it. Anyone who loves superheroes and gritty and dark and gory, because this is totally that book, and you would love it. You would totally love it. So this is a 5 out of 5 Nerd Skull book. Check it out. Victories number 3.
So I got to read Quantum and Woody number 1, and if you know me at all, I was a huge fan the Valiant Comics, Quantum and Woody, back in the day by Christopher Priest and Mark Bright. I thought that book was perfection. The humor was great. The superhero antics were fantastic. I was stoked when Valiant Entertainment announced that they're going to bring it back, Quantum and Woody, number 1. This one's going to be written by James Asmus and Tom Fowler on the artwork. It's good. Let me start with that. They start right off the bat with Quantum and Woody being Quantum and Woody. Not the greatest superhero pair you've ever seen. We cut back to the history, and this is where I was a little iffy because they changed it from the original story. Granted, I have a lot of nostalgia going into this, so my memory might be a lot better as far as what I liked than what it is if I go back and read it. So that's why I'm still I got to read this again. Didn't like some of the history changes, but I really like the writing when Quantum and Woody, Eric is Quantum, go at it and they basically fight. They have a lot of comedy going on. I absolutely love that aspect of the book. I think once it gets its rhythm and pacing, I think this book is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to see where they go. I'm going to give this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
I also got to read Trinity of Sin, Pandora, number 1, which is a prequel to the Trinity War. And I've got to say, this was a really interesting book. It gives us the whole backstory to Pandora and how she became a member of the Trinity of Sin, and about how her life is kind of dedicated to trying to get rid of the 7 sins, which it was really interesting to see them physical, what they look like, and all the characters that made a presence were really, really interesting to look at, and I think this is going to lead to a really interesting story, so I'm definitely going to give this book 4.5 Nerd Skulls. Pick it up.
All right, guys, I got to read Swamp Thing number 22. I love this book. We actually get to see John Constantine in this book, which is cool because I was kind of waiting. Brightest Day ended, and we've seen them in Justice League Dark, but I was wondering when you were going to see Swamp Thing and Constantine hanging out again, and it's not in the way you'd think it is. There's a little twist here in the book that's pretty cool. It says there's a 2-part story, The Whiskey Tree, which sounds like a pretty awesome tree to me, but find out some dark magic behind it. But I think this is going to be a good little filler thing. I mean, I feel like they're building up to something in Swamp Thing, kind of taking a break from the big rot world, but they show the new bad guy, Cedar, and he's going around pissing Swamp Thing off. I enjoyed it, though. I'm giving this 4 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. I can't wait to see what else is in store.
So I also got to read Avengers AI number 1, and I really dug Age of Ultron. I really enjoyed what it did and how it set up a world or the next multiverse, I guess, for Marvel at least. And that was really cool. I think it ended a little abruptly, and this starts the same way. It just kind of, hey, there's all these characters that have been floating around and you didn't know. I mean, there's of course, the obvious Victor Moncho's on the team, and the Vision, and Hank Pym. I mean, they're all pretty much brothers hanging out with their grandfather, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool dynamic. But they don't really play on that. And like they play off the brother relationship with Victor and Vision, which is cool, and I like it. And I don't know, Hank Pym's never been one of my favorite characters, never been someone I can get behind. He's done some awesome, cool stuff, and I like him. I think he's cool as an Avenger, but you know, it's up in the air for me. And I feel like there's a lot of fans of this character in particular that are going to love this. And it's pretty funny, it's pretty cool, it's pretty action-packed. I'm excited to see where this goes, but I'm only going to give it 3.5 Nerd Skulls. But the art does look like Frank Quietly, kind of. So the artist is awesome. Amazing, actually. So check it out. 3 out of 5 Nerd Skulls. It's actually a really good book, so check it out.
I also got to read The Superior Foes of SpiderMan #1, and I have to say this was a really fun book. It's told from the perspective of the new Superior 6, even though so far there's only 5 of them. But it's really fun because they're all kind of clashing. They don't really like each other, but they have a common goal to take out Spider-Man, so they kind of have to work together. There's a lot of humor. It's really fun. Most of it is told from Boomerang's perspective, and there's just so much self-loathing in him that it's just a fun book to read. I can't say that word enough. Pick up this book. You will enjoy it. I'm giving it 5 out of 5 Nerd Skulls.
All right, guys, so I read Mice Templar #4 this week as well. I'm on a Mike Avon Oeming kick right now. Another great issue from this particular series. I feel like this is like an awesome, cool time. And like if you catch the last couple issues I've reviewed, I've checked out, they're really awesome. They're really fun. They're a lot more dark than I would have ever imagined Mice Templar to be. This one in particular, because you get like the backstory of the rat captain who's like in charge of all the rats who are like the biggest bad guys in the world. Oh man, it was awesome. It was actually really cool just seeing his origin, how he goes through it, how he comes to be, his dad being a douche of douches, and how he gets like pretty much placed into his position of power. It's really cool. It's really well thought out, and that was the one thing that really got to me, really stood out in this book and this entire series to begin with. I mean, it's going on the lines of you're dealing with this really dark, crazy story of this person who's been treated badly his entire life by people that are supposed to like love and care and nurture him, and he's pretty much thought his entire life that mice are terrible and they're the worst and they're supposed to be eradicated. And then on the other hand of the book, you have like the savior of the world being mentored and guided to become that. It's ridiculous how awesome all of it together is. So definitely check this out. Another 5 out of 5 Nerd Skull book for me. Really good.